All right, then there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. Here is my levels window. On the levels window, you're going to see this little graph. And the graph is of black, gray, and white. There's another graph underneath it. We don't want to touch that one. On this one, what we're going to do is we're going to slide the white square over. You can see I'm doing that now, and you can see my picture's getting bright. If I bring it too far over here, it sort of washes out my picture. So I just want to brighten up the picture a little bit. And I can move the gray one over a little bit. And then I can grab this black one and drag it over this way. So you can see your picture should have brightened up a little bit. When I click on preview over here, you can see what it looked like and what it is now. Once I've brightened up that picture, what I want to do is I want to lock this background. So I'm going to hit the padlock that's right above the word background. And you'll notice a lock appears right over there. That's an important step because I don't want to actually like do anything or create anything on that background layer. I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to paint on top of it. I want to keep that layer sort of safe. If I put the lock on it, if I try to paint on top of it, it won't let me. And that will be, honestly, a good thing for all of you because you don't want to get into that. To paint, I want to create a new layer. The layer window is down here at the bottom. When you look at wherever your layer thing is, the create a new layer is right down here. There's a few different things. One kind of looks like a file folder. The other one looks like a waste paper basket. This one right here is new layer. It looks like a rectangle with a tiny little triangle in the corner. If you mouse over it and you keep your mouse on it long enough, it will say new layer, and that's the one that you want. When you click on that, you'll see a new layer pop up in your layer window. It will by default be called layer 1. Okay? We want to use this layer to paint on, and we want to paint one specific thing. So in this case, I'm going to start, I can really start anywhere. I'm going to start with the shirt. So I'm going to double click on that layer number 1, and I'm going to rename it shirt. How to rename a layer? Just double click on it. You should have the option to sort of rename it at that point. And again, you could just type in whatever you want. If you decided to use the pants or the hair or whatever, that's fine. So we'll go with that. Now that I've created that new layer, this is the layer I'm going to paint on. Over here on my toolbar, I want to get to my paint bucket. The paint bucket's usually 2 squares down near the bottom of the toolbar. By default, they're black, but generally they'll remember the last colors you used. You want to use the square that is on top. When you click on that, your color picker is going to pop open. Once your color picker is open, you can click anywhere on the color picker to kind of pick a color for the shirt that you want to, or whatever part you're coloring. If you don't like what's there, there's also this rainbow sort of meter on this side. You can slide this up and down, and that will pick new colors for you. I've decided that I want this color, and I'm going to click OK. Whatever color is in this little square is the color you're going to have in your brush. Now, where is your brush? Your brush is on your toolbar over here. It looks like the tip of a paintbrush. If you cannot find it, just press the letter B, and it will automatically switch to the brush itself. If you click and hold on the brush, you'll see there are other options here, like the pencil tool, the color replacement tool. We do not want to use these. We just want the regular old brush tool that looks like a paintbrush. Now, when I go to my picture, you might see a little tiny dot. That little tiny dot that I'm sort of moving around is my paintbrush. If I click and drag, you can see I'm painting. But it's a kind of tiny brush, and it's going to take me forever to do the shirt like that. I also want to get rid of this little bit that I already did over here. To get rid of it, I would do undo, which for you would be holding down Control and pressing the letter Z. So anytime you make a mistake and you don't like it, just hold down Control and the letter Z. That is the same for almost every program. Now, since my paintbrush is really, really small, what I want to do is I want to go up here to sort of adjust how big it is. You're going to notice near the top menu, there are a layer that is basically right underneath the words File, Edit, Image, everything. This layer is your tool options. The second option over here is a little triangle pointing down and a little dot with a number. In this case, this is our brush size. We're going to click on that. You should see a menu here. Menu has size and hardness. It also has the brush type. We're going to get into all this and the hardness later on. I'm going to explain how to use these. For right now, I don't want you to mess with the hardness or the brushes, just the size. If you slide this up, you'll notice when you go back to your picture, you get a bigger brush. You slide it back down, you get a smaller one. I'm going to try to look for one that I think is not too big and not too small. That one looks pretty good. Now, as I'm working, you can notice like my picture is really small and maybe it's hard for me to see over here. So to get closer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Control and press the key that has a plus on it. Holding down Control and pressing plus will zoom in. Holding down minus will zoom out. You can see I've started to paint her shirt right over here, but when I'm painting, all you see is that color straight on. It's like it's covering up the old drawing. This is where that multiply function comes in. You'll notice that I'm on the layer here, painting, the one that's called shirt. Up above that, it says normal. I want to switch that normal to multiply. You can see when I switch it to multiply, now when I'm painting, it's actually see-through, and I can actually see the old lines through my paint. To paint now, you can go ahead and paint the whole shirt. To get into harder to reach areas, well, you can make your brush smaller so it fits in there. But let's just say you kind of go over an area by accident and it's not the way you want it. In this case, I went over the lines. The other tool that I showed you is the eraser tool. It should be 2 spots below your brush. The eraser tool also can be got by pressing the letter E. The eraser tool is exactly like the brush tool, except it takes away, but you could resize it on the same area. In this case, I'll resize my eraser tool. Sometimes I like to just color over the lines and then come back and just kind of fix it up with the eraser later on, as you see I'm doing right now. So that, my friends, that's how to paint. So again, I'm going to adjust my brush, trying to get into a harder to reach area, and I'm just going to fill in. And if I want to zoom in a little bit, I'm just going to hold down Control and hit plus. If this is how you've been doing things, you've been doing exactly right. If this is not the way you've been doing things, well, try to stop what you're doing. If you have to restart, but let's go step by step, exactly the same way as I'm showing you. Now, as far as the colors, when we decide we're going to do a different part of the project, we want to create a new layer. The reason why we're doing that is because I'm going to show you later on, once we're through the painting part, how we can change these colors very, very easily. So if 2 weeks from now I decide, well, I want to change the color of her shirt and nothing else, well, if I have it on its own layer and I'm coloring it separately from everything else, well, then it's going to be a very easy way to replace that color without having to redo the entire thing. And I want to show you those kinds of options because I think that they'll be very helpful to you later on. All right. I'm going to adjust my brush a little bit larger here to cover more area. It's a little too big. And then I'm going to continue to paint. All right. All right, so you can see what I've started to do over here. Here's my shirt. All right. If I decide that I now want to paint, once I'm done finishing the shirt, which I'm going to make believe that we did finish painting it. Now I want to start painting the pants. I'm going to go to my layer area. I'm going to create another new layer. I'm going to rename that layer pants. All right. And on that layer where it says normal, I'm going to change it to multiply. That's an important step. In this case, I can go back to my color picker, pick a new color, whichever color that I decide I like, and then I can start painting the pants. One question that popped up last week while we were working is, Mr. B, how do I get the same color again that I had before? How can I find that same color? All right. So let's just say now I'm coloring the pants, but I want to go back to the shirt. All right. I'll go back to the shirt layer. And then what I want to do is I just want to make my background disappear for a second. I'm going to click that little eyeball on background. When I click that little background eyeball, you see the background disappears and all you can see is my paint. You can see the layer of the shirt and the layer of the pants. While I'm on the layer of the shirt, I can go to my color picker. When my color picker comes up, if you wanted to try to match that color exactly, you'd be here forever trying to get it exactly right, and I guarantee you won't. So to get the exact match, what you do is take your mouse, go over to the color on your picture, and just click on it. By clicking on it, it automatically matches that color. And you can hit OK. I'll make my background reappear, and now I can come back and start coloring my shirt like nothing happened. Again, I've recorded this. I'm going to stop the recording right now, and I'm going to post this to our team. And if you need it, you can use it. But at this point right now, what we should be doing is we should be coloring in our character, and we should be, when we're done, creating a sort of screenshot of our finished product. And in our finished product, we should see a new layer for every new color. And in your screenshot, you should be showing me the layers in that picture. I'm going to stop this now.